Hey everybody, welcome to day 2 of Nutrition Warriors workshop, and hope you're feeling great. Thank you for the chat in the main group. I've answered some of your questions, hopefully all of them. I've added to the lessons to hopefully supply more answers and info for you to read at your leisure. And check out the meal plans that I sent some of you and the macros idea. So we're going to go through macros today, so you'll get a better idea of how to calculate it yourself. I figured out yesterday that you could see me all along when I was screen sharing, so we're just going to do that again. Thanks for coming in. Entire screen. Perfecto. So let's go straight into the class. It is a bit strange because I can't see myself, so feels like I'm really just talking to a piece of paper. Right, so macros, essentials. We're in the classroom and we're in macros and power of whole foods. Macros, what are they? Some people hear it all the time, but they're not quite sure what it is. So it's protein, it's fat, and it's carbs. It's the main food groups. Your micronutrients are your smaller elements like vitamins and minerals that contribute to your health. So how much do we need? That's what we'll be discussing, and then we'll go through how to calculate it yourself. There's different ways of doing it. And then, of course, it's really important to understand that that's a basic guideline. Then it would apply differently to your hormones, perhaps, or your lifestyle, your age, how active you are, and what your goals are. So are you trying to put on mass? Are you trying to lose mass? Okay, so then we adjust it for our goals and our body type. So let's go into the main bit. So what are macros? Of course, again, you can read through this in your own time. Try and make this video shorter than yesterday. See if that will come up again. Awesome. So they are the building blocks of your diet. So the only thing you need to understand, we've all heard of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, is they all produce energy in our body. So they're burnt down with different processes in the body that use different enzymes. And carbohydrates are usually used first and release sugars into the bloodstream. So they have they spike insulin, which will then try and get the blood sugar level down to normal again. These have 4 calories of energy per gram that's processed. So that's primary energy source for our brain and our muscles. Really important to not cut out carbs. It's not the 1990s anymore, Kate Moss. Proteins, 4 calories per gram. So you might think there might be more, but no. They're just different. They're processed differently. They're metabolized more slowly because they're a bit more complex. They're made of peptides called amino acids, and there are essential amino acids and non-essential amino acids. You get enough of all of these from different foods. So for plants, you might combine foods to get your non-essential and essential together, which is what you need for all your tissues and processes in the body. And that might be something like mixing rice and beans, like in a burrito, or mixing chickpeas and brown grains, like hummus on brown bread. Then you know that you're covering most of the amino acids that you need. Whereas meat and animal-based food has higher protein content and mixes more of these non-essential and essential amino acids. So you get probably more for your buck with those. But when you look at the charts that you can find of different protein content in foods, it can be surprising how high some vegetables are. I'll put one of those charts in the group. So yeah, proteins are of course essential for muscle tissue repair and muscle building, and pretty much every process in the body as well. So these are really, really, really important. Enzymes are proteins, and enzymes are what catalyze reactions. So they cause different processes in the body. Yeah, that's all we need to go into that. Fats have more calories, more energy per gram. So that makes sense, I'm sure, to all of you. You know that your fats, your margarines, your oils, you know there's a lot more energy in those. And these are really important as well. So you shouldn't skip out fat. They support hormone function and nutrient absorption in your body. Really, really important, especially as we get older. We actually need to increase our fat intake a little bit. Could be good news, could be bad news. So here we go. So energy and performance, macronutrients will directly influence your energy throughout the day. We know that carbs will fuel our workouts, that's fast release. And then after a workout, you'll have protein to recover the muscles. So that's your basics. At night, you probably don't want to have very high carbs because you're going to sleep, you don't need all of that energy. So that's when you can start to think about how and why you eat like you do during the day. And the balance of protein, carbs, and fats determines how your body builds muscle, stores energy, and manages weight. We all know this, but it's nice to see it written down and understand why, I think. So carbs, primary fuel source, as I mentioned. Complex carbs help your blood sugar levels be stable. So that's really important. So complex carbs, just think your brown, your grains, like this picture on the left. Fiber, we need about 30 grams of fiber per day for gut health. And as we know, we should take that fiber from a mix of vegetables and whole grains. And we should try and focus on our foods being from a whole food source. So as little processed as possible throughout the day. So we're getting all of as many nutrients and fiber as possible and avoid simple sugars. Okay, let's take a breath. Any questions on that, please drop it in the group and I will get back to you. So how to calculate your macros? So I've done it for a few of you. I don't use this equation, but this is the traditional way, and we did learn this at uni. I did a sports and exercise science degree, and yeah, we did look at this way of doing it as well. So, but I don't expect anyone to remember this equation. So here you go. You can do it with this equation for yourself if you want to. So this is your basal metabolic rate, BMR. This is your baseline number of calories that you need to just exist, to not do any exercise, just to lie in bed all day for your body to exist. So it's probably going to be under about 2,000 calories for women and a bit more for men. So that's your baseline. When you have a higher metabolism, that will be more. When you have a low metabolism, it will be less. Then on top of the BMR, we need to add calories that account for your lifestyle. This is your total daily energy expenditure, or the TDEE. So we just call this your activity level. So you calculate your BMR by your activity level, and that gives you an approximation. So here we go. We've got the numbers here, and then we do use these. Another way to calculate your macros, your BMR, which is more commonly used, is to take your weight in pounds and multiply that by 15. It comes out about the same. And usually that's what we use. And then we add these things in for your lifestyle. Number 3, we look at your percentages of macros within that calorie range. So depending on your body type, your goals, your hormones, things that we discussed already. And this, you can see they're big ranges. So it's difficult to say for each person. A common one is 30 carbs, 30% carbs, 40% protein, 30% fats, all the other way around with carbs and protein. But you see how we're not skipping on fats, and the 30% is much less grams of fat because it's much higher energy value. Okay, so for weight loss, you could reduce your calories from that BMR times your activity level, and then reduce the calories by cautiously about 200 to 300 calories per day, and just start with that amount, and then check after every couple of weeks how you're feeling, how that's going, if things have moved, if not, etc. If this has not changed, before reducing the calories a lot more, I would probably adjust the macros and see how that goes for you. For muscle gain, you want to also think about getting a higher protein level and increase calories. So slightly different again. If you want to get muscle gain but lose fat, again, that'll be different. You might increase the protein, and then we'll just review how many calories we're doing. We might not go down too much. And of course, balancing your macros. So this is why it is really, really important to track your macros, because all these hidden things that we do when we're rushing around, we might take a bite of something here, a little bit of peanut butter here, but I thought it was a teaspoon, but I actually had 3. I remember now, because I was just almost finishing the bowl, the tub, and it came out. So these things really, really put you off, and then you won't make that, like, it's just science. The numbers won't track right. You won't be matching those calories because of these little extra bits here and there. And so you won't have the results that you want. So this accountability and tracking, it can be a pain, but if you think about it as a positive thing, it's teaching us how to really fuel our body in the best way possible for health, so that we can go and have fun and live our lives. It's not meant to be a big issue. So you just do this for a week or so you learn and you get used to it. Helps you find out what's working, and then you stick to it. And you don't need to worry anymore. You prep your food. You're eating these wonderful color rainbow meals. It should just be a pleasure, not a massive chore. And of course, you can account for like a bit of birthday cake on someone's party or a glass of wine here and there. So the benefits of counting macros here, we're checking. You're basically ensuring you get what your body needs without overeating or undereating, and you're teaching yourself portion sizes as well. Perfect. So these are all vital. So again, don't skip your carbs. So I'm just going to make a note to have a protein chart in here, so you can see all the different sorts of protein from different foods. So we're just going to go into, again, calculate macros. This shows something slightly different. We have yes, this lays it out slightly differently and gives you a bit more information on ideas for calories, so you can look at that if you want to. And again, do you remember with the body types, endomorph, ectomorph, mesomorph, these percentages will be slightly different, the guideline to start from. So you can get your calories and then use that body type guide to help you see what sort of percentage to start on, or you can contact me. And a good coach would really take all of this into account, not just give you a cookie cutter approach. This is really, really important to get you on a good start. And then, of course, check it every 2 weeks. So it just takes you through a bit more detail here. Great. And then at the bottom, this is what I want to show you. You can go into a calculator. So macro calculator, got one open here. You type in all of your bits and bobs there, and it gives you a general number, and then you can account for your activity level here, your TDEE, and also your weight, your goal weight. Do you remember as well that with your TDEE, there's something called NEAT, so it's your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. These are things like walking, your steps, of course, we always account for these, cleaning your car, washing, cleaning, maybe you've got a very active job. Think about this when you're thinking about your activity level. Yeah, and just be honest. There's no point not being honest with your coach, with yourself. It won't give you progress. Okay, so that's my general wrap up of macros. As we calculate, if I'm advising my clients to have different macros, I will think about their age and hormones, especially with women. Again, we do need to think about supplements as well, but we'll go into supplements a bit more later on in the course or workshop. Great. So I've just put together this plan here for women over 40 to talk about this, especially. So declining hormones, estrogen, thyroid, and our sex hormones are reducing. We lose muscle at a higher rate, so we can actually increase our protein a bit more. So instead of the 0.9 to 1.1 grams of protein per body weight, per kilo of body weight, we can up that a bit to 1.2. And this has been said by Dr. Stacey Sims. She is one of the most exciting researchers at the moment. She works directly with people at university in this field, and she works with female athletes. And she's a woman herself who's been a strength trainer for a long time. So she really, really understands from research and science-based figures what works for us and why. Okay, so with women at this point, yes, we can use exercise and nutrition to help us avoid taking HRT. But it will balance our hormones in such a way that we don't have these massive ups and downs. So this is a fantastic thing. So the key principles of a hormone balancing diet would be to focus on your whole unprocessed foods. Your healthy fats, we do need these. Again, even when you're over 40, you can increase your fats from about 50 grams to 60, 65. If hormones are a little bit out of whack for another reason, we can even take that even higher and really focus on a high fat diet. Healthy fats, again, looking at quality proteins and really maintaining that blood sugar stability. And then thinking about your gut health as well. So kimchi, your fermented foods, all these things that we know. And I think it helps us to understand why. Then it helps us to really push for it more and make the right choices. Not that I do all the time at all. Also avoiding trans fats and alcohol. Okay, so this is what we're looking at. Again, a big range, so it would depend on everybody, but healthy fats looking at about 30%. And then it gives you a sort of guide on an overview of what you could eat. Okay, so these are things that we commonly see: grilled salmon, Greek yogurt for breakfast, lentil and vegetable stir fry, snacks, apple slices, loads of water, Okay, and if you're snacking in the day, you could have almonds, walnuts, Brazil nuts, um, again, your hummus snacks, corn crackers, rice crackers. Try and grab simple things. And here we go. Just got some resources. I've got quite a lot on here. So if you wanted to watch this video, hopefully, and I've popped in another video in here, which discusses macros and body type a bit more. And then when you pull that up, you'll see often Dr. Huberman. He's a great person to watch. He really is not biased. He gets experts in. He's a scientist himself, so they're really, really intriguing to watch and very informative. How to burn fat and gain muscle. Here you go. Perfect. And down here, Dr. Stacey Sims and Dr. Huberman. This, if you have time, I've listened to it in the car sometime, 2 hours long, but fantastic for female-specific exercise and nutrition, breaking down all the myths and telling us what is actually correct, which I absolutely love for her. We've got the macro cheat sheet, which again is just going to give some guides on what to eat and why. Let you have a look. I think I've explained the main things. Oh, and I have put the protein snacks in here and the protein guide. So that's fantastic. Veggie combos. So you can see the good sources of protein. That looks nice. Good sources of protein that they suggest. And just to finish on micronutrient summary, have a look through this just so you get an understanding, because often we hear things we don't know what they are. For example, collagen is a protein. It works with vitamin C to actually process well in our body. So things like that, that's where the micronutrients come in. They help processes. Water soluble B and C, and fat soluble are A, D, E, and K. So you can see why we need fat to help absorb these nutrients. It's such a massive thing. It's not great to be so skinny. Minerals, your calcium, potassium, magnesium, and trace minerals. I'm going to go into these a bit more in supplementation on why these things are important. I posted on Instagram this morning about collagen and creatine. I'm a big fan of those two, and I'll explain more why in our classroom, which is going to be day 4. Great stuff. Going to stop sharing and wish you a fantastic day. Please let me know with a reaction on here or in the group if you've watched the videos and if it's helpful. Love to hear back from you. Brilliant, guys. Have an awesome day.